1919 opened with a rebellion in Germany. The revolutionaries, who were called Spartakists, gained control of a number of key buildings in Berlin. However, they had very little popular support, and the army quickly put down the revolt. Most of the revolutionaries were hunted down and killed. In the beginning of February, the German National Assembly met in Weimar, and thus the Weimar Republic was born. Meanwhile, in Paris, the victors were meeting to work out the terms of the peace agreement they were going to impose on the vanquished. The Versailles Treaty, when it was done, resulted in the loss of all of Germany's overseas territories. It resulted in the loss of the Alsace-Lorraine, small areas that were transferred to Belgium, as well as larger areas in the east. Altogether, 13% of Germany's pre-war areas were lost. Also, the Rhineland, part of Germany, was to be demilitarized. In addition to territorial losses, Germany was required to keep its army at 100,000 men, not to have an air force, and only a small navy with no submarines. Finally, the Germans were forced to accept financial responsibility for the war. Thus, they would have to pay reparations. The Germans signed the treaty on June 28th under protest. Treaties were also signed with the Austrians, Bulgarians, and the Turks. The Austrian-Hungarian Empire ended. Hungary became independent, as did all of the Balkan states. Poland also regained, for the first time in hundreds of years, its independence. As part of the peace agreements, the League of Nations was established to keep peace in the world. The League of Nations gave a mandate to Palestine to Great Britain. It was expected to somehow fulfill its pledge to create a Jewish homeland, while not reneging on its commitments to the Arabs. In the following months, a revolution broke out in Hungary that briefly brought communists to power there. The Bolshevik army, led by Leon Trotsky, defeated the White Army in 1919, bringing the Russian Civil War to an end and solidifying Bolshevik rule. Meanwhile, the world tried to return to normal. The United States happily greeted its returning veterans. It sent Herbert Hoover to coordinate food aid to the millions of Europeans left hungry by the war. Prohibition was ratified by enough states to make it illegal for liquor to be sold by the beginning of the next year. Four of the greatest stars of Hollywood, Charlie Chaplin, Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, and D.W. Griffin, started their own film company, United Artists. The state militia was called out in Boston to end a police strike. President Wilson collapsed while campaigning for support for the Versailles Peace Agreement and American membership in the League of Nations. He was never to recover, and the United States did not join the League. Aviation, after being shown to be an important weapon of war, began once again to show its civilian applications. The first commercial air service began in 1919 between London and Paris. In addition, the first transatlantic aircraft flight took place by Navy seaplanes. The planes made 3 stops